WanderingWinder back with the next part of a rebuild series. And in today's episode, what I want to cover is rebuild to empty provinces. So previously, what we'd looked at has mostly been trying to play rebuild in a way where we're basically running out 50% of the VP with VP destruction that way. Um, but sometimes what you need to do is empty the province pile, right? Typically, there's a couple of reasons why one or the other might be better, having to do with what other points are available. The more time there's more other points available, the more likely you need to empty the provinces to actually end the game because you're not actually going to be able to get to 50% of the VP. But also, it depends a little bit on what kind of deck that your opponent is building. If they're building a deck which is going to score gradually, they're going to get double province a couple times, something like that, then trying to run out 50% of the VP makes more sense. But if they're going for some big burst like a mega turn, then it's often going to be more important to just run out actual provinces. But you need to just keep track of that yourself as the game goes along in a given kingdom. But both come up a lot, and so since mostly we've been doing 50% of the VP, I'm just going to be looking, in this case, at running out the provinces as best we can. So as we could see this game, I've had really good luck. I got 2 rebuilds on turns 3 and 4, um, and I'm going to get to play them both here on turn 5 or turn 6, excuse me, as well as be able to um, get a third rebuild, right? In these kind of games, you're always getting rebuild over Duchy until the game is ending that exact turn, um, because Duchy does not help you empty provinces faster. The other thing, though, is that you don't necessarily need to work all of your cards up towards provinces in a line. You don't need to do that in general, but it's even less important if you're trying to run the provinces out. In fact, it's better to just keep nailing the more expensive cards than more estates. So if my deck were completely randomized, I'd rather hit the Duchy here than hit these estates. As it is, right? I've revealed 4 coppers, so there's 4 coppers and a Duchy down here. And there's 2 estates in here. If I skip these estates, then I'm going to go into 4 coppers and a Duchy, and on average there's going to be 2.5 cards left on top of my deck. If I go here, I think it's a little bit better. So I am actually going to not name a state here, but it's actually a very close decision already. See, this has worked out a little bit better. I'm going to be closer to my rebuilds again. Okay, now this time I have 2 rebuilds in hand. There's 1 Duchy and 1 estate in my deck. So what do I want to do? Well, I'm going to play both the rebuilds. Actually, no, they're both Duchies. In that case, it's slightly better to hit both of these Duchies, probably. But we'll start by naming province. And okay, we'll turn that into province. Now, there's only 4 cards here. This is smaller than my discard pile, so I definitely would rather hit the Duchy that's here than the province that's there. So we're going to just name province again. And cool, a clean shuffle. Again, if I were playing with more cards, like I'm not choosing any of these cards to play with, like Wishing Well at some point would be better than some stuff. Lackeys is definitely better than nothing here, but I'm playing for just the straight rebuild to empty the provinces. So I'm not going to get anything there. See here, we've drawn it with our estate. Normally that's really bad. In this case, it doesn't matter so much. It's actually kind of good. We just want to nail these provinces. And actually, we're starting to come to the decision point. Do I even want another silver? I have 3 rebuilds. I need to play 5 more rebuilds, probably, to end the game. Maybe it's going to be 6 or at most 7. The rest of my deck, I have a silver, a couple of rebuilds, 1 green card, and some coppers. So it's pretty unlikely I can buy rebuild on the next turn. How likely is it that I'm going to buy another rebuild coming up, and how much is that going to speed me versus the silver slows me down? I think it's very close. I'm going to lean towards the silver here, but it's very close, I think. I'm going to have another interesting decision here. Here, we know that there is a province here. Um, so this puts us in a little bit of an interesting spot because we would like to hit this province into province. But then if we name a state, it's very likely that what's going to happen is we'll have a big shuffle. So we could name province here, hit the estate that we know is in our discard, and then figure out what we're doing next. I think we should just hit the province anyway, though. Yeah, and this actually worked out pretty well. So now we're missing a silver and 4 coppers. These last cards are a province, an estate, 2 rebuilds, 2 silvers. Yeah, I think at this point I don't want the silver anymore. We're going to keep naming estate. We're going to smash this province. I don't think I want this silver again. Here we're going to name estate again. We're going to hit this province. And now in a real game, I'm probably buying a duchy because the game is so close to ending, and I am it's safe to buy duchy here because I'm for sure going to see rebuilds before I see whatever card I'm buying now. So it's actually safe to go ahead and buy duchy. I'm never going to see this card again unless my rebuilds show it. So yeah, this is fine. And now here we know that the estate is in hand, so I don't need to name estate. I can name province and actually hit the duchy that I just played. And you can see that I'm actually emptying the piles on turn 12 here. Obviously, this was really, really good luck, or the province pile particularly. I don't have that many points, but I emptied the pile really fast, which is the goal of playing like this. Now let's go again and see, you know, probably with some more realistic luck, how things turn out. Again, I'm ignoring all the cards here. You would get Guide, you'd get Caravan Guard at some point, you might get Menagerie at some point. You'd you'd skip Rebuild here because there's Mountebank and Chapel and Tomb, but this is just a demonstration of Rebuild, so we're basically ignoring the board. So we hit 5 once, but not twice. This is much more realistic, and now we're hitting Rebuild again. And now our Rebuild missed the shuffle, so this is, actually not very good luck. So we'll get to see this end of it. Um, Given how we are right now, I think I would like to, well, let's check out. These last cards are, well, they're 2 rebuilds and a silver, right? Yeah. I think I would like to get a 4th rebuild, given where we are, so I'm going to get that silver. And now let's name estate. I also can't count, so I mistracked my deck there. We're going to turn this into a province. And naming a state there just gets us deeper into our shuffle, basically, right? If we would have named duchy, then we're more even, but that's, again, not such a big virtue. Do I want a 5th silver? Probably not. I think 4 should be enough, even with 3 rebuilds, that it can get me the rest of the rebuilds I need. So yep, we're going to buy rebuild again here. Now our province is in hand. We have seen an estate already, so we know we're going to hit estate here. There's nothing much to do about that. Now we want to name estate so that we hit this duchy and turn it into a province. We're going to end our buys. Again, cantrip is better than nothing, for sure. But whatever. We're going to name estate again. Nail this province into province. We're going to buy another rebuild. And we're going to keep naming estate and spinning provinces into each other. And now, okay, so this is our only estate. Doesn't really matter what we name here, since, as long as we don't name province, that is. So I have 3 more rebuilds, okay. Okay, so now, once again, I have rebuilds in my shuffle. I'm not going to see this card again before I can end the game. So it's very safe for me to buy an estate here. Actually, I buy into the province. This is very unlikely, but I had 3 rebuilds here, so I was very likely to be able to, end the game this turn. Um, Obviously, there's some chance that I get this amount of money, but it's much more likely that I'm just gonna, find a rebuild, smash province into province, buy an estate, or find 2 rebuilds, at which point I can name province, turn an estate into a duchy, play a rebuild, name estate, and then province into province. Well, whatever. 3 rebuilds you can, guarantee moving up. 2 rebuilds, you would still have to name estate on one of them. So, whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna buy this province here. Um, Anyway, so there you go. This was 14 turns, right? So 12 to 14 turns, you can empty the provinces. You're usually going to end up with something like I have here. Both of these times I ended up with 20 points. If we ignore the tomb here, I would have had 20 points from 3 provinces and 2 estates. That's pretty common. Sometimes you will have to turn your estates, your last estate, into duchies, but if you're really trying to empty the provinces, you don't need to worry about getting all your estates into provinces. You just need to worry about emptying the provinces. So you actually want to name in such a way that you do that more quickly. Again, this is really presuming that your opponent can't score very much very quickly. In real games, oftentimes you do need actually a few more points, and so you play a little bit more like we have in our previous videos of the series. Um, but this is also an important skill to have, and understanding what your opponent is doing and what the board looks like is really important to knowing which of these styles you actually want to play for, or whether it's somewhere in between, right? There's subtle and small differences, but they really do add up and get you a few percentage points here and there, which is what can often make the difference between a good play and a great play. And this is Wandering Winter with the next part in the rebuild series, signing off with this video for now.